In a crazy turn of events, the TTV channel was invited by none other than the LEGO Group to attend to the pre-opening of the LEGO house. Seeing as Denmark is pretty far away from America, they turned to their sole Scandinavian employee Exxtrooper. And without hesitation, he accepts the challenge, and with his girlfriend behind the camera, he sets out on a journey that'll change his life.
I was lucky enough to be the TTV member closest to the LEGO house, so I was able to fly out here, and we're going to be here for the super secret cool AFO opening 1 week before the actual opening of the LEGO house, and it's going to be a cool time. So let's go inside and see what this house has to offer.
The very first thing that catches your eyes as you walk into this LEGO house is the Tree of Creativity located right in the middle. It's this giant tree made out of 6 million LEGO bricks. Despite the tree being a giant LEGO construction, they took no shortcuts when it came to detail. As you walk up the stairs, you begin to notice all the different Easter eggs that they have riddled out throughout the entire tree, and also it's quite cool to look at all the different landscapes and worlds, and even some monkeys, which hopefully they're up to nothing but good. The thing that caught my eye was all the different space sets that you saw on the top branches. I'm a huge fan of space, always has been, so it's really cool just seeing those themes once again after all this time. As soon as you get up the stairs, you are greeted by these 3 roaring dinosaurs. Unfortunately, all seem to have stepped on this tiny LEGO brick, which is probably why they have their mouths open to begin with. They were each made by Duplo, LEGO System, and Technic respectively. So you're guaranteed to be pleased, whichever fan you might be of LEGO, because come on, who doesn't like dinosaurs? The main thing in the Masterpiece gallery is all these different creations from people all around the world. Probably some creations that you've seen on websites like Flickr or Instagram, anywhere you can share it. There's these incredible, cool creations that people that you know and love from the internet made. Moving on to the free build section, we found ourselves in a room where everyone was kind of building their own thing. But the first thing that caught my eye was this giant LEGO waterfall, which made me feel quite euphoric in the moment. So I kind of ended up posing in front of it. People around me didn't seem too impressed with it, but they're probably too busy just building their own thing. Right next to the LEGO waterfall, we found ourselves in this room where you could just kind of build these huge LEGO bricks, which in the end made like this giant LEGO castle in the middle. And so we sat down. We were just like, you know what? Let's sit down and build a little bit. And we just made our own brick for the castle in the middle. And I think it turned out great. I was quite happy with how it turned out in the end. And I just sort of popped down there, and we were on our way to the next thing. After getting a bit tired of using just a bunch of identical bricks, we found ourselves in this next room, in which we made these like small mini buildings, which made up this entire city, which had these projected screens on them where you could actually see all these different citizens running around, and they were all color-coded. If you put down your building and there was all these coworkers around that had the matching color, they would all swarm around it, and they all get really satisfied with your building. So it was kind of like an ego boost. You just kind of build something, you put it down, you see all these tiny LEGO people swarming around it, liking it, and what happens if you satisfy enough of them, then something really cool happens, which I'll let it speak for itself. After hours of creative thinking, we found ourselves to be a little bit hungry. So we moved ourselves to the Mini Chef restaurant, in which you actually build your own meal. It's kind of weird to explain, but you get this little bag of parts, and you put them together in any sort of model that you want, and each piece represents something on the menu, and you just put that into this machine. And you can choose your drinks, everything, and then you just click OK, and then you just sit there and chill there for a little while. And after a little bit, it'll beep and it'll say that your order is on the way. And what do you mean? And you just gotta get up, and then you find these like two robots doing all these wacky, crazy stuff, and you can see your meal in this little Lego box just slowly getting closer to you. And in the end, the wacky robots will push it towards you at the speed of light, and you're going to have to catch it in your hands. And in the end, that's how you get your food. Food was pretty great, actually. Probably not the most exciting in the world, but I mean, it did the job. With our bellies full, we wanted a little bit of quiet, so we moved down to the museum section. You saw these old toys that LEGO made before they established themselves as this plastic LEGO brand. It was really interesting to see all these old versions of the LEGO bricks and minifigures. While all this was really cool to look at, it was not as cool as what you saw in the middle. There was these large cabinets where it showed you all these old sets throughout time, as well as the boxes they were in. It felt very surreal. It was like one of those dreams you have when you're in a toy store and all the shelves are just full of like these old sets that you wish you picked up when they were out, but then you wake up. This was all for real. You had all these iconic sets like the Yellow Castle, where you had old space sets, the first Star Wars sets, Exoforce, police stations, everything you can think of. There was so much to look at. I wish that we could probably fill an entire half hour with just this room. It was a bit emotional even, because I was just standing there and I just thought of all these sets that I've just had throughout my childhood, and here they are before me in like a timeline, and I'm still buying Lego sets today. It was pretty cool. After quenching our thirst on nostalgia, we moved into a city of wonder, in which there was this room where there was these 3 giant islands, these big Lego worlds. There were one like big San Francisco looking city, and there was one tropic island, and there was a big hillside, and they all looked extraordinary. I was very much not alone when it came to this opinion, as I was standing there surrounded by fellow fans of LEGO from around the world, just admiring this entire world that people had built. This was very much a dream room for me, as I've always wanted to have an unlimited supply of LEGO and time, and just build these massive landscapes, you know, just create your very own world. The lights, the moving vehicles, it all felt alive, and I was pretty lost in the moment. I probably used a good chunk of my time just staring at all these wonderful creations. You know those mini-lands they have in pretty much all Legoland parks? The best way I could describe this room would be a slightly improved mini-land. While what you see in Legoland is cool, seeing all the modern techniques and pieces used makes for quite the sight. These clips do not do these creations justice. You really have to come here yourself and just enjoy the landscape. Moving on from the big cities, we found ourselves surrounded by bright colors, various insects, birds, and pretty flowers. I personally found the environment to be quite outlandish, as I was merely a humble traveler from the far north who wasn't accustomed to this much plant life. But nonetheless, I did have a fun time building cute little turtles on lily pads. Also, there was this kind of like a bouncing trampoline-looking thing where you like made these small wacky creatures and put it on it, and they started dancing. And although it wasn't a advertised feature, I did join them in a dance, and even one of the LEGO employees said I had some nice moves, which was a fun. As the day was nearing its end, and it was not too long until everything was starting to close down, we noticed on our way out that we had actually missed one of the rooms, which was this kind of like an aquarium in which you made your own little fish, and then you could scan it using your little armband thing, and you kind of put your eyes and your mouth and everything, and push a button, and then he's alive. It's crazy, you know? And then you put it on this kind of like a Hall of Fame. You can see all the different fishes that people made.
Here we are at the end of the journey, standing in front of the LEGO house with all the hard hats, putting down the grass, getting ready for the next week's grand opening of the LEGO house. I have to say, I've had a lot of fun. And not now enough time at all. Life, and hopefully we'll see you next time.